Is the Orange County housing market finally becoming a buyer's market? If you've been watching the headlines, you might think so. Inventory is at its highest level this year, homes are taking longer to sell, and buyers are finally seeing more choices than they've had in quite some time. But here's the interesting part. Despite all of that, sellers are still receiving nearly 100% of their asking price, distressed properties remain almost non-existent, and one statistic at the end of this video completely changed how I'm looking at the rest of 2026. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or simply wondering what's happening with your home's value, make sure you stick around because today we're diving into the latest Orange County housing numbers and what they actually mean for you. Hi everyone, I'm Leslie Swan with the Swan Team Real Estate, and every month I break down what's really happening in the Orange County real estate market so you can make informed decisions based on the facts, not headlines, not fear, or speculation. Whether you're planning to buy your first home or your fifth home, thinking about selling, investing, or simply curious about where the market is headed, my goal is to help you understand what these numbers actually mean for you. And before we jump in, if you find these monthly updates helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. It really helps YouTube share these videos with more people who are interested in Orange County real estate, and it helps me too. And if you're thinking about buying or selling anywhere in Orange County, I'd love the opportunity to help. You can reach me directly at 949-444-1601, or my contact information is listed down below in the description. Now, let's get into the numbers. Let's start with inventory because this is one of the biggest stories in today's market. Orange County currently has 5,046 active homes for sale. That's an increase of 26 homes, or about 1% compared to just 2 weeks ago. While that might not sound like a huge jump, it continues the trend we've been watching all year as more sellers enter the market than buyers. What's interesting is that inventory is now almost identical to where it was 1 year ago. At the same time last year, there were 5,071 active homes, just 25 more than today. Now let's put that into a little more perspective. Although inventory has been steadily climbing throughout this year, we're still well below what would have been considered a normal market before the pandemic. Compared to the average of 6,753 homes from 2017 to 2019, Orange County still has about 34% fewer homes available for sale. One of the biggest reasons? Well, homeowners continue to hold on to their incredibly low mortgage rates. Many people simply don't want to trade a mortgage in the 2 or 3% range for one that's closer to today's rates of 6.5%. In fact, in January through July, there were 27% fewer homes for sale than the historical pre-pandemic average. So while buyers definitely have more choices today than they did a couple of years ago, we're still not seeing the flood of inventory that many people have been predicting. Now let's talk about the buyers. Buyer demand, which measures the number of homes going under contract over the previous month, currently sits at 1,494 pending sales. The good news is that the demand has actually increased by 22 pending sales, or about 1% over the past 2 weeks. That may not sound dramatic, but it's actually the first increase we've seen in demand since the beginning of May. Now here's the flip side. Compared to the same time last year, buyer demand is still about 7% lower, and compared to the pre-pandemic market, demand remains dramatically below normal. Affordability continues to be the biggest challenge. Higher mortgage rates and elevated home prices mean many buyers are still taking a wait-and-see approach. The buyers who are purchasing today tend to be those who truly need to move, perhaps because they have a growing family, a job relocation, they're downsizing, or just another significant life event. So what happens when inventory increases while buyer demand remains relatively soft? Well, homes simply take longer to sell. Orange County's expected market time is now at 101 days. That's actually 1 day faster than it was 2 weeks ago when it stood at 102 days because inventory and buyer demand increased at nearly the same pace. However, when we compare that to a year ago, the market has slowed. Last August, the expected market time was 95 days. With today's expected market time at 101, it tells us that while homes are still selling, buyers have become more selective and sellers need to be more strategic with their pricing and marketing. Now, this doesn't mean homes aren't selling. It simply means that pricing correctly has never been more important. We're no longer in the market where almost every home receives multiple offers within a few days. Unless, of course, you are my apple tree listing in Mission Viejo that received multiple offers and went under contract over asking price in just 1 week. Strategy and who you work with matter. But I digress. I will say that today's buyers are comparing more homes, negotiating more often, and they're willing to wait for the right property if something feels overpriced. And something that people are often shocked to hear is that buyers are making offers contingent upon the sale of their current property. Sellers are willing to accept contingent offers if the price and the other terms are just right. So what does all of this tell us? Well, I think we're looking at a market that's becoming increasingly balanced. In fact, by definition, expected market time of less than 90 days is a seller's market, and more than 120 days is a buyer's market, and 90 to 120 days is considered a neutral market. Buyers finally have more choices than they've had in several years. They have a little more negotiating power, and they're taking more time before making a decision. But at the same time, inventory is still historically low. Distressed sales are almost non-existent, and sellers who price their homes correctly are still achieving excellent results. So in other words, this is no longer the frenzied seller's market we experienced a few years ago. But it's certainly not a buyer's market either. It's a market where preparation, pricing, and strategy matter more than ever. Now let's zoom in and see what's happening around Orange County, because not every city is moving at the same pace. Some cities continue to sell incredibly quickly, while others have slowed considerably. If you're house hunting, this information can help you identify where you'll likely face competition and where you may have a little more negotiating power. So let's start with inventory. Once again, Irvine has by far the largest number of active homes on the market with 769 active listings. It's not surprising considering its size and the amount of new construction taking place throughout the city. Even with all of that inventory, Irvine's expected market time sits at 158 days, meaning buyers generally have more time to make decisions than they do in many other Orange County cities. Coming in second is Huntington Beach with 288 active listings, followed by Newport Beach with 266 active listings. Both cities continue to offer buyers a wide variety of housing options, but homes there also tend to remain on the market longer because of their higher average price points. Now, where are homes selling the fastest? The fastest moving market in Orange County is North Tustin, where the expected market time is just 45 days. Close behind is Stanton at 53 days, while Mission Viejo and La Palma are both at 56 days. These cities continue to experience strong buyer demand relative to the number of homes available. When homes are priced appropriately in these markets, they can sell very quickly. For buyers, that means you'll want to be prepared with financing already in place and be ready to act when the right home becomes available. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, the slowest markets continue to be some of Orange County's luxury coastal communities, which isn't a surprise. Laguna Beach currently has an expected market time of 235 days. Rancho Mission Viejo follows closely behind at 233 days, while Corona del Mar is also well above the OC average at 202 days. That doesn't necessarily mean homes aren't selling. It simply reflects the fact that luxury properties have a much smaller pool of qualified buyers, and those buyers tend to take more time before making a purchase. Most Orange County cities actually fall somewhere in between those two extremes. So where does the market feel the most balanced? These communities have an expected market time that's much closer to the Orange County average, giving buyers a little more time to make decisions while still allowing well-priced homes to sell quickly and successfully. So we have Anaheim currently sitting at 99 days, San Juan Capistrano is 102 days, and Costa Mesa comes in at 114 days. These markets represent what I'd consider a healthier balance between buyers and sellers. Buyers typically have more inventory to choose from, and there's often a little more room for negotiation. And sellers need to focus on proper pricing and presentation to stand out from the competition. In many ways, these cities are a good snapshot of where the Orange County housing market as a whole currently stands. So how does Orange County compare with the rest of Southern California? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Orange County currently has 5,046 active listings and an expected market time of 101 days. Now let's compare that with our neighboring counties. LA County has over 15,035 active homes and a market time of 130 days. Riverside County currently has more than 7,703 active listings with a market time of 115 days. San Bernardino County has roughly 6,000 active homes and a market time of 130 days. And San Diego County remains relatively competitive with approximately 5,900 active homes and a market time of 102 days. Now, if we were at the Del Mar races, Orange County's market time would edge out San Diego by just 1 day. But basically, both counties are in the same neutral market. But how does Orange County compare to some of the other major markets throughout the West? Well, the San Francisco, San Jose Bay Area currently has a market time of 86 days, while the Phoenix area sits at 117 days. Las Vegas has slowed considerably with a market time of 145 days, pushing it into a buyer's market. So while Orange County has certainly slowed from the ultra-competitive market we experienced a few years ago, it's still holding up remarkably well compared to many other large metropolitan markets across the western U.S. And that's one of the reasons Orange County continues to see long-term stability in home values. Now, before we wrap things up, let's take a look at one statistic that often makes headlines whenever people start wondering if the housing market is in trouble: distressed properties. These are homes that are either in foreclosure or being sold as short sales. Now, the reality, there are currently just 10 distressed homes actively listed for sale in all of Orange County, or 0.2% of all the active properties. Even compared to our neighboring counties, Orange County continues to have remarkably few distressed sales. Los Angeles County currently has 199 distressed listings, Riverside County has 167, San Bernardino County has 143, and San Diego County has 82. Orange County remains one of the healthiest housing markets in Southern California. Now let's zoom out even further. Across the Bay Area, there are 144 distressed listings. Las Vegas currently has 199, and Phoenix has 327 distressed homes. This is one of the biggest reasons I don't believe we're heading towards any kind of housing crash. When homeowners begin experiencing widespread financial distress, we typically see foreclosures and short sales increase dramatically. And we're simply just not seeing that today, and there are no indicators that it is coming anytime in the near future. Most Orange County homeowners continue to have significant equity in their homes, and many are still benefiting from historically low mortgage rates they locked in over the past several years. So, what does all of this mean if you're thinking about buying a home? Well, first, you finally have more choices. Inventory has grown throughout the year to the same levels it was last year, meaning you're no longer competing against dozens of buyers on nearly every property. You also have a little more time to make thoughtful decisions and negotiate. Now, that said, the best homes are still selling quickly. If you find a well-priced home in a desirable neighborhood, don't assume it'll still be available next week. And preparation will always matter. Getting pre-approved is still the best move you can make before you begin looking, let alone shopping. Now, if you're planning to sell, this market rewards preparation. The days of simply putting a sign in the yard and expecting multiple offers within a weekend are largely behind us, unless you work with the right agent who has an excellent strategy and on-point marketing. Now, in general, today's buyers have options. That means that professional photography, strong marketing, strategic pricing, and presenting your home in its absolute best condition are more important than ever. The good news, homes that are priced correctly are still selling. In fact, many sellers continue to receive very strong offers because inventory, while it is improving, still remains historically low. Pricing accurately from day one gives you the best opportunity to attract serious buyers before your home becomes stale on the market. Now, if you're already a homeowner, I wouldn't be overly concerned by headlines suggesting the market is slowing. A slower market doesn't automatically mean declining home values. What we're really seeing is a return towards a healthier, more sustainable housing market. Most homeowners have built significant equity over the past several years, and with so few distressed properties entering the market, there's very little downward pressure on home values at the moment. Now, if you're currently renting, this may actually be one of the better opportunities we've seen in several years to begin exploring homeownership. While mortgage rates remain higher than many of us would like them to be, between 6.5% and 6.75%, buyers now have more inventory, less competition, and greater negotiating opportunities. And always remember, you can refinance a mortgage if rates come down, but you can't go back and purchase today's home at yesterday's price if values continue to appreciate over the long term. So where do I think the Orange County housing market is headed from here? Well, I expect inventory to remain relatively elevated through the end of the summer before it begins its typical seasonal decline as we head into the fall and holiday months. Buyer demand will likely remain fairly steady unless mortgage rates move meaningfully below today's levels. And all indications from the Fed are rates going up, not coming down, thanks to the conflict in Iran. If, for some unexpected reason, rates begin to fall, we might see many buyers who have been sitting on the sidelines jump back into the market. Although I will say many are often late to the party when rates aren't at their lowest point. It never fails. But if rates remain where they are, I expect Orange County to continue behaving much like it has throughout most of this year, a balanced market. And if we do see rates rise, then the average home will take longer to sell. Highly desirable, appropriately priced homes will still sell relatively quickly, but with higher rates come fewer buyers. Now, here's the biggest takeaway for this month. Despite more inventory and homes taking a little longer to sell, Orange County remains one of the healthiest real estate markets in California. We're not seeing a flood of distressed properties, we're not seeing a collapse in buyer demand, and we're certainly not seeing evidence of the housing crash that some headlines continue to predict. Instead, we're seeing something much healthier, a market where buyers have more choices and sellers can still achieve excellent results. Success comes down to having realistic expectations, the right strategy, and the right realtor. If you found this market update helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss next month's update or any of my videos covering everything you need to know about buying and selling real estate. If you're thinking about making a move anywhere in Orange County, I'd love the opportunity to help. Feel free to call or text me directly at 949-444-1601 or send me an email using the information in the description below. My team and I are always happy to answer your questions and help you build a strategy that's right for you. And if you'd like to continue learning about the Orange County housing market, make sure to watch this next video right over here where I break down another topic that every buyer and seller should understand before making their next move. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.